Howdy partner, this is the E-Partner. It's an all-electric commercial vehicle from Peugeot, and if you're a savvy businessman or businessman woman, then what I'm about to tell you is going to make your accountant weak at the knees, because this all-electric van, it costs effectively nothing to run. Oh, this one's gonna have your accountant salivating, because not only is it priced low enough to get the clean car discount, but you can also get the GST back on it, which means all in all you're paying about 55 grand. And for that, you get 245 Ks per charge. Now that 55 grand, that's it. After that, there's no more oil changes, no more petrol bills, no more diesel, no more parts, no more filters, no more pulleys, no more spark plugs, or exhaust repairs, or even staff downtime because of engine trouble. With this, you pay once and then you start making money. Let's start this review right here in the cockpit and we'll talk comfort. Now this has to be the most un-van-like van I've ever been in. I've been a tradesperson for more than a decade, so I've been in loads of vans, but this one, it's more like a car, and that's largely because it has the Peugeot i cockpit. It's a combination of this very compact steering wheel that sits down very low, and you've got your display here quite high. So it kind of detaches you from the driving experience, and that's not a bad thing. It's just kind of surreal. It's like you're playing a driving game. It's kind of fun. And if you're going to be spending 3 hours a day driving this thing, you'll be happy to know the seats are very comfortable and they're really, really adjustable. They can go a long way up and a long way down. Plus, they come with an armrest that is luxury. As standard for seating, you get a two-person bench seat on the passenger side, which is great if you're going to be taking two people with you everywhere. However, it's going to be pretty narrow. The middle passenger's going to have their knees banging against the center console, so what I'd recommend is just going for this option, which is having a single seat on the passenger side. With a three-seater, technically you could get away with it, but you'd start the day as workmates and you'd end the day as lovers. As standard, you also get air conditioning and heating, as you'd expect, although the heater is a regular induction heater, not a heat pump, so it's not as efficient, but you do get electric windows that go down with one touch and up with one touch, plus they have pinch protection. As for storage, well, it's got quite a bit, as you'd expect, because it's a van, right? You've got your regular cubby holes here in the dashboard and here. You've got this giant vacant space down here in between the seats where normally that would be obscured by the two-person bench seat. Of course, you've also got your glove box in this section here, but above my head, there is this massive cavernous section here for logbooks or potatoes or whatever. It's fantastic. Regarding the steering wheel though, yes, it is fully adjustable. It's telescopic, goes up and down. But it's also really, really light. The power steering is very city friendly. As for handling though, well, this is a van, right? So you don't expect great things, but it does handle it more like a car, and that's because it has that really low center of gravity, because its big heavy battery pack is slammed right down against the road. So it feels more like a car. Although that steering wheel, the power steering, is so light and city friendly, you don't get a lot of feedback. And it can also read the speed signs with a little camera built into the windscreen. See, look at this 80k zone. Look at that, it came up on the dashboard. It's showing 80 now because the camera read the speed sign. Humans don't even do that. The E-Partner also has a reversing camera as standard, which is great because, let's face it, it's a sealed box, you can't see anything. Plus it has blind spot mirroring to show you if there's a car in your blind spot when you're on the motorway. And it also has Appalachian CarPlay and androgynous auto, but it is Apple Android with a cable. And on that note, as for charging sockets, you've got only one USB point and one 12-volt cigarette lighter socket. As for the battery, it has a 50 kilowatt hour capacity battery driving this vehicle. Now in the perfect world, that should give you up to about 245 Ks per charge. But what does that mean here in the real world? Well, keep watching because I'm going to put this thing through a serious test. But now I'm going to find a scenic location to pull over and show you all the capacity this vehicle has in the back. This looks like a good spot. Now let's talk cargo space, starting with access. It comes with a remote control which unlocks all doors, but it also has proximity door access. So by simply having the key in my pocket, I can grab the handle and it unlocks automatically. And let's take a look in the back. Obviously it has a door that opens on the passenger side, but it also has doors that open not just like this, but 180 degrees on both sides. Check that out! Plus, check this out. There's also a driver's side sliding door that opens too. Now there are two versions of this vehicle. There is the standard body and the long body. This is the standard body, which is 4.4 meters long. However, the long body is 4.75 meters long, and it has obviously more cargo capacity. At up to 3.3 cubic meters in capacity, this thing is bigger than a Ford Ranger's fuel bill. As for cargo length, the standard body has 181 centimeters of distance between the rear doors and this back of the cockpit. That's right, ugly, whereas the long body has 216 centimeters of maximum cargo length. All in all, a vehicle like this has a great number of applications for a great number of businesses, but what about carrying capacity? Well, the long body version can handle 751 kilograms of weight, while this, the standard body, can haul an impressive 803 kilograms. But what does hauling weight like that do to the battery? Will it decimate your range? Well, for that, we have to put this thing through a real-world challenge. Yep, today's mission is going to try and recreate the distance traveled by a typical delivery driver in Auckland conditions. It's going to be a major. Let's crack into it. And we are off. And according to the internet, a typical delivery driver in New Zealand conditions does around 80 kilometers per day in city situations and up to 150 kilometers per day in rural situations. So I'm going to push it hard today, as you will see. This is leg number 1, in which I need to go into Auckland city centre in rush hour, which will be fun, in order to pick up a special consignment which will be delivered to the other side of the city this afternoon. My biggest problem, however, is not going to be range, it's going to be time. But having said that, I'm going to drop it down into eco mode and put it into regenerative braking hard mode. Alright, so my performance and heating has been limited, but it reckons, the guessometer says, I can do more than 290 kilometers on a charge. I don't think that's realistic, but we're going to find out. Whew, made it onto the motorway, and I can't help but notice though that all the vehicles around me are all petrol and diesel. I see no electric vehicles, which means that if you had this as an electric vehicle for your deliveries and your services, just think what an advantage you would have in terms of not only carbon emissions, but cost. Because this vehicle, unlike that ute and that station wagon, this one costs effectively nothing to run. Seriously, if you charge this thing at your home or business on the EcoSaver plan from Ecotricity, that's the plan I use, then a full charge on this thing for 200 kilometers of driving, it's 10 bucks. It's like 2 pies in a bakery. I want a pie now. Plus, the electricity from Ecotricity is 100% clean. Yep, it's New Zealand's only climate positive electricity provider. So not only can you help eliminate your carbon footprint, but you can save bucket loads of cash because all of the electricity comes from just wind, hydro and solar and nothing else. So sign up at ecotricity.co.nz. Once you go green with Ecotricity, you won't look back. Plus the electricity, it's super affordable. I'm a tightwad and I use it. You can't get a better endorsement than that. Ooh, driving in Auckland is hairy, but this thing has automatic emergency braking built in and, look at this, automatic wipers as well. Like I said yesterday, this is the most car-like van I've ever driven. Alright, we've made it into the city and we're entering the 30k an hour zone. This is where a little gadget comes in really handy. If I press the button on the stalk here, I turn on the speed limiter, just so I don't creep over 30k's an hour. So right now, even if I mash the accelerator, it's not going over 30. That is brilliant. No speeding tickets for this business. All right, how does it handle these tight city corners? It's a turning circle. Oh wow, that turning circle's really good. Loading zone, here we go. All right, we've got 5 minutes to rush up to the office. This is the Ecotricity offices. I'm here to pick up some laptops. You guys may or may not be on video, so do something spontaneous, like combust. Alright, we've got 5 near new laptops to be delivered to a special location this afternoon. Time to hit the road. We're off now to the deep south of Auckland. 55 kilometers is this next stretch because we have a very heavy consignment to pick up. One interesting little factoid about this vehicle is that out of all the dozens and dozens of vehicles I've reviewed, this one has something that no other vehicle has. And all those vehicles I've tested, it has a full-size spare tyre. Like not a collapsible, not a tyre repair kit, an actual full-size spare. On the road again. Feels good to be actually moving on the motorway now. And if I check the economy, which I can do by pressing the button on the stalk, you can see that today's economy is just over 15 kilowatt hours per 100k, 15 and a half. That's excellent. Actually, that's stupidly good, and that's because, well, let's face it, the van is basically empty. But it won't be for long. Right now, we're heading to Pukekohe, which is New Zealand's mecca for potato enthusiasts. I pushed the E-partner southward, battling the elements and cranking up the heat before reaching my destination, Wilcox, a huge produce supplier which had a special consignment set aside, but first I got to see behind the scenes. This is Dean and we are in the DPH, right?
Yeah, domestic packhouse.
What happens in here?
So we normally receive in here, like behind us, bins of potatoes, onions, carrots, and we receive those from our farms in Northland, Pukekohe, Matamata, Awakuni. So when the potatoes are brought off the truck, they first go into a soak tank which bubbles, gets rid of the dirt, through a destoner which takes away all the stones, and then it goes into a large, basically horizontal washing machine which washes the potatoes, and then from there into a brusher which makes them nice and clean, and then from there it goes through an optical grader which grades out rots, greens, any defects to ensure that the potatoes that you're eating are in perfect condition.
Okay, so once they're optically graded and sized, what happens next?
And from there they go into these wooden bins which normally take about 1 tonne, and those bins then go into a cool storage, and then we draw on those bins over a sort of 1 to 2 day period, and they go into the pack lines which we've looked at, and from there into retail or into food service, or in some cases to charity.
How are you not hungry working on this production line?
I do love spuds, but
so
yeah.
do I. All right, well, let's go and load up the van and see if we can get these to the city mission.
Awesome.
With half a tonne of cargo loaded into the back of the electric van, the real test was to see if its range suffered. And we are off, and a huge thank you to Wilcox for donating not only 500 kilograms of potatoes, but also letting me see inside the facility. That was pretty sweet. All right, next leg is to the city mission in Auckland Central. Now, it closes at 2, which means it is now 12:40, so we should be okay as long as we don't have too much traffic. It says it's 52 kilometres away, 47 minutes. We should get there with half an hour to spare, as long as the traffic doesn't get worse. And it is Auckland, so who knows. Right now, let's talk economy. Now, we've used about 1/5 of the electric tank to get all the way down here. We've done a total so far of 74 kilometres, average economy 14.8 units of electricity for every 100 kilometres. But that's going to change. Let's see what half a tonne of pure spud-tastic weight does to the ride. I can definitely feel the extra weight in the back. You know what, I'm going to chuck it into power mode, and that will give me all of those 100, well, far out. That'll give me all of those 100 kilowatts. Oh, that's much better. Oh yeah, I need that. What's it going to do to the economy though? Whoa, we're going to find out. Let's hit the city traffic. I pushed this heavy E-partner hard, heading 50 k's north at speed, and before long I was in Auckland City, but I didn't realise I was driving straight into a problem. I just rocked on up and the city mission is not only closed, but the phone just goes to voicemail. There is a clothing drop-off place around the corner. I'm going to go give that a go, but I'm running out of time. With the clock ticking, I headed over to the next location, but it's closed here as well. I needed to come up with a backup location to offload this half-tonne of cargo. All right, we have a backup plan. I'm now heading to the Salvation Army in Royal Oak. So a little bit out of the way, wasn't part of the plan. It's going to add some more miles to the odometer, but that's life. Okay, so we should be there in about 20 minutes, but I am racing against the clock now because I also need to get all the way out to the other end of Auckland to drop off those laptops this afternoon. All right. All right, let's get these unloaded. How you going? All right, mission accomplished. Now out to Massey.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. All right, mission accomplished. We got there in the end, put a few extra Ks on the clock, but now we're heading out to far northwest Auckland, Massey, to drop off those computers to a high school to kids in need. With half a tonne of spuds delivered to people in need, and shout out to Abby from Ecotricity for hooking me up with the supplier, it was time to head 21 k's northwest via the motorway, if I could. Well, with the motorway closed, it's made things a little more challenging. I have to now take all the roads to get out to northwest Auckland, which, because of roadworks now, has really slowed things right down. So hopefully I can still get there in time. You can't deny this is a real Auckland test, a real world test of Auckland driving conditions. Eventually, I got onto the motorway and pushed this electric van hard, running on Ecotricity's climate positive electricity, but it was still doing suspiciously well. Gotta say, I'm impressed with the range we've done so far. I expected that we'd be at half full by about 110 kilometres on the odometer, but we've now done 152 kilometres, and we've just reached halfway. And you've seen me, I've been driving it hard, I've not been mothering it. I'm very impressed. I know I'm biased because I love electric vehicles, but in terms of vans, I'm really impressed. But nowhere near as impressed as the 5 families who are about to receive near-new laptops from Ecotricity, hand-delivered to the awesome IT team at Massey High School. And we are off, and I gotta say, that felt really, really good. The IT dude was saying that there are still a great number of students who don't yet have laptops, and the cost of living crisis is hitting everyone hard. So to be able to donate 5 near-new laptops to the school to go to students in need feels really, really good. But next leg of the journey right now is back to the depot, back where I started, and then we will do a final summary. The last leg of the delivery journey took me back to where I began more than 150 kilometres earlier, racing through Auckland Central traffic at breakneck speed. Yeah, I don't know how delivery drivers do it, and in just 1 hour I'd crawled an incredible 27 whole kilometres back to the starting point for a final tally. Woohoo! And we have made it! That is a wrap. We are back where we started and far out. I've got to be honest, I'm really impressed. I didn't think it was going to do this well. See, I planned this trip to create some suspense so that by the time I got where I am now, I'd only have maybe like a fifth of the battery left, and there'd be lights flashing and there'd be chaos and stress. It'd be great on camera. But look at this. Look how much range I've got left. That is stupid. I've only used just over half the charge and I've done 187 kilometres. That's more than I planned because of the drama we had trying to drop off the potatoes. And it still says I've got more than 100 k's of range left. You know what? I'm kind of inclined to believe it. Seriously, I did not expect this vehicle to do this well. But as well as it did, I wanted to know how far it would go if I really pushed it, so I chucked some weight in the back and blasted down the Waikato Expressway until after 203 grueling kilometres it finally entered turtle mode and begged for a recharge, so in extreme circumstances that's what your minimum range will be. But now it's time to tally up this vehicle's final spud score, starting with performance, and its 100 kilowatt motor made light work of anything I could throw at it, so I'm giving it a solid 6 out of 10. Next is handling, and despite being a taller vehicle, its battery pack gives it a really low centre of gravity, making it more stable than combustion vans when hauling heavy loads, so 7 out of 10. As for comfort, well, the seats are great and there's more than enough leg and headroom for really tall drivers, but those seats are not heated, which would have been a great winter power saver, so I'm giving it 6 out of 10. Efficiency's next, and in Auckland City applications where it's impossible to go fast, you could easily get 300 k's per charge. Not bad for a van, so 7 out of 10. Let's talk gadgetry now, and it's got Android and Apple connectivity, and the automatic handbrake is handy, but the cruise control is not adaptive, and the sound system has less depth than me, so it's a mixed score of 6 out of 10. Value's next, and after the rebate, it's excellent as far as electric vans go. It hauls a lot for a small van, and the range is great in the city, and if you drive a lot, the payback time could be just 3 or 4 years, plus if you're running it on Ecotricity's great off-peak rates, a complete charge is less than a beer at the pub. So for value, 7 out of 10. Next is charging speed, and if you charge at home or at the office using a 7 kilowatt charger like this one from Evnex, then a full charge will take around 7 hours or overnight. Alternatively, a ChargeNet Hyper Rapid charger would take about 30 minutes because this van can charge up to 100 kilowatts, so I'm giving it 7 out of 10. But what about style? Well, it's a van, so I'm giving it 5 out of 10 because it's a van, unless you think vans are cool, in which case we need to talk. Next up, is it fit for purpose? Well, as a city-based goods and service vehicle, absolutely, so I'm giving it 7 out of 10. And lastly comes potato storage capacity, and I've saved the best for last. Sure, it can haul 803 kilos of spuds in the back, but it's the PSC in the cockpit that's staggering, setting a new record of 121. So 10 out of 10 there, which gives the Peugeot e-Partner a total spud score of 68 potato points. Overall, it's an agile little van, ideal for most urban services and deliveries, from IT to food to, well, any business wanting an electric advantage over the competition.